Chess is believed to have originated in ancient India, sometime during the 6th century AD. The original form of the game, otherwise known as Khartogan, which roughly translates to 4 divisions. This was because the game was played in 4 different aims, each representing the different badge of the Indian military. As the game spread throughout the region, it evolved and it changed and it reflected the customs and cultures of the different societies. When the Islamic Empire conquered parts of India, they adopted the game, adding their own unique twist and style to the game. During this time, the Khartogan became known as the Shaturan, which is still played in some parts of the world today. But it wasn't until the Middle Ages, when chess as we know it today began taking shape. By then, the game has spread across Europe, where it took on new levels of intimacy and complexity. The most significant changes was the introduction of the queen piece, which allowed for more dynamic and strategic play. Okay guys, I'm just going to show you how each piece on the board actually moves. So we're going to start with the rook. The rook actually moves in a straight line. It cannot jump any of its own color pieces or your opponent's pieces. As you can see on the screen there, we have a few stars. We're going to move the rook and try to capture all of the stars, as illustrating how the rook actually moves. Okay, that's it right there. It just moves in a straight line. You must make sure that your pieces are not blocking its movement, otherwise it cannot jump over your pieces or the opponent's pieces to get to a particular square. Next piece, we're going to move to the bishop. So the bishop can only move in the diagonal of its color. We have light squared bishops and we have dark squared bishops. As you can see on the screen there, the light squared bishop is going to capture the 2 stars that are on the board. Now the bishop is exactly almost like the rook in a sense that it cannot jump its own pieces or the opponent's pieces, right? So we're just going to capture there you go. I think it's pretty simple and self-explanatory. As you can see now, it's a dark square bishop. You can set up the board in this manner that you want and then see if you cannot capture the pieces and set up pieces, maybe your opponent's pieces, on all of the squares that have stars. Next, we're going to go to the queen. The queen now is the most powerful piece on the board. So what the queen can do, as you can see as it's moving on the chessboard there, it can capture on the diagonal, can capture on the straight and move like a rook. The only thing that the queen cannot do is move like the next piece, which we're going to talk about, which is going to be the knight. So the king is the most important piece on the board. It's actually the piece that your opponent is trying to capture, and the piece that you should protect the most out of all of your pieces on the board. The king can only move 1 square forward or on the diagonal or go back, and it can only capture the opponent's pieces as illustrated on the chessboard on the screen. Now we're going to move on to the knight. So the knight moves in an L formation. The knight is the only piece that can actually jump its pieces and the opponent's pieces at the exact same time in order to make advancement in the number of squares that the knight can actually jump to at a single point in time. And the last piece that we have is the pawn. So the pawns can only move one square at a time. It can only move 2 squares if it's from a starting position, right? But as the pawns advance and if they get to your opponent's side, they can become a very strong piece. They can even crown and become a queen, or crown and become whatever piece they decide to be. Play. Throughout the centuries, chess has been played by people of all walks of life, from royalty to common folk. It has been used to teach strategy and tactics in the military training. It has been a popular pastime for intellectuals and scholars. It has even been used as a symbol of power and privilege, with the important matches being between kings and their advisors. One of the most significant moments of the chess history was the creation of the World Chess Federation, otherwise known as FIDE, in 1924. The organization established standardized rules for the game and introduced these in organized competitions and championships, making it a recognized sport globally. Today, chess is loved and played by millions around the world. It has been integrated into modern culture through books, movies, and even video games. It has been shown to us as a power of the human mind, which chess masters such as Garry Kasparov and Bobby Fischer demonstrate incredible levels of skill, intelligence, and creativity. In conclusion, the game has a rich and fascinating history, which spans across centuries and continents. It has evolved and adapted to suit the needs and interests of different societies and has become a symbol of intellect, strategy, and power. Whether you're a grandmaster or a casual player like me, the game of chess holds a special place in our culture's history and will continue to be enjoyed and cherished for generations to come. I urge you to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.